It is Wednesday night again. This is the Wednesday Night Mouse Party. I am Dan Foss, and tonight we have Gun Websites, who hates the music. How's it going, G-Webs?
Are we being arrested in Europe? I thought that was a police siren from like Europe or something.
No, it's a jazzy, disco-y sax.
But I'm doing all right. Thanks for hosting.
And gives you Gary. How's it going, Gary?
Yeah, fair to middling, I guess. Thanks for having me.
And Guns and Barbecue. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I apologize for missing last week. I realize I'm in breach of contract and that I will not be paid for this entire month now.
No, there's a little leeway there. So
also, if you miss an entire episode, then you owe him. Don't you read the whole contract? More than you pay.
He didn't print it off in Braille.
Oh, that's savvy.
Yeah, Rich White owes me a lot of money. He's never shown up. He doesn't know he signed the contract, but
he did. I was there. I saw.
And I forgot my water. Uh-oh.
Well, I've got so much extra water here. Oh man, it's so cold and refreshing.
Yeah.
Also,
I might have to go grab it here in a little bit.
So much desert.
Pay extra for water. I have it imported from the West Coast.
Ah, fancy.
This is California water. There's no guns ever touched this water. No guns have ever been shot into this water.
Do you distill it and then have your free sea salt as well?
Oh, that's a good point. No, I should probably do that.
Yeah, California doesn't really have extra water.
Well, now that they seed the air, they have all the water they need, don't they?
Oh, back in the 80s, they were trying to build a pipeline from Washington State to California so they could get more water.
They should, because it's all downhill. It would be super easy. You always have too much water. You could just put a bunch of buckets with holes in it, put all them holes into a pipe, put that pipe down to California, and they get all the water they need. Win-win.
Yeah. Oh, there's a link in the live chat pinned at the top of the chat for this week's poll. If you haven't voted in the poll, head over there and vote in the poll. And let me get the banner going because I remembered the banner this week. At the bottom of the screen, there's an email address, untactfulfoss@gmail.com, and a link for the Discord. You can send in comments, suggestions, or pictures within reason. In the Discord server, it's a place to hang out, chit chat, share pictures, memes. You can get a hold of me and pretty much anybody else that comes on the chat. So, well, why don't you guys talk real quick? I'm going to go grab my water. I'll be right back.
Just a heads up, if you wish to get a hold of me through Discord, you will need to get a hold of somebody that has my phone number and tell them that you tried to get a hold of me on Discord, and then I will go look. Otherwise, I do not check Discord.
In other words, somebody needs to send you a text to tell you to check your Discord.
Yes.
I also don't check Discord. Even if you texted me, I'm not going to check Discord.
That is how much G-Webs loves you.
No, it's just I hate Discord that much. I just don't
use it.
One thing over there, and then I use the link in his. That's all I use over there. And as I'm using it, I don't like it any better. So it's not like and it's all the same. It's because everything over there is just hidden. So it's might as well have like a phone call with somebody versus most of our stuff we do is to be shared, right? It's for everybody, for all time.
Boss is back. Shh.
Yeah, I'm back. It's important to stay hydrated. So.
I'm going to go get some more water. I'm out of water.
Yeah.
So I've got coming up in about a month, we'll do a giveaway for the 100th overnight. It's in 2 more chats. So I picked up a couple special patches. The See You in Hell. Oh, I guess I can make myself bigger. Here, hang on. Beep. I think we'll do 2 prize packs. And one person will get the See You in Hell Ghost. And then this one's a little salty, so I'm not sure if everybody will want it, but the Don't Be a Cuntosaurus.
Oh, hell yeah.
I need that. Oh my god, I need that.
Hit of shot show wearing that around on my backpack.
I've got these survival cards. These ones are a little bigger than a credit card, but they've got a knife and needle fish hooks that you break out. There's like spear points and
Well, I've heard if you print stuff on metal cards that can be cut out, you end up going to jail.
Yeah, depending on what you print. Fork. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 plates with stuff.
That's pretty cool. Where'd you get that at?
Amazon, and it comes in a little felt patch or pouch.
I'll bet you that isn't a fork. I'll bet you that's for stabbing like minnows and frogs and stuff.
Well, there is what I think that's a fork, and then there's one that looks like a frog gig.
Oh.
That one kind of looks like a frog gig.
Is it Poseidon's trident?
It's a 4-point. And then I've got another one which kind of started all the. Oop, there it is. So, and then there's this set, which these are about the size of a credit card. So these are designed to fit in a wallet. There's a fish hook. These are from. And who was this? Grim Workshop. But there's fish hooks and fish weights. And then there's a second card, which I'm still waiting to get, that is fishing lures. So they look like little spinner lures, and they're even painted and stuff. So I'll get those Monday. So I think we'll do.
Are they cheap or are they expensive?
Actually, not that expensive. The ones from Grimm are a little more. The lures were, I think, $11. It's one card, and the hooks were, I think, a little bit less. And then this set of what was it, like 6 cards was like $11, I think.
Are the ones thicker than the others?
I think these feel maybe a little bit thicker. Or yeah, maybe slightly thicker.
That's what she said.
But I just kind of came across these, thought they were cool, ordered them, and then was looking, kind of searching around Amazon, and I found the 6-pack. So I picked some up. Figured we'd give them away, and then got the patches to give away.
Do you have a poll going right now?
Have a what?
Do you have a poll going?
Yeah. Best side for a burger.
It's in his community tab.
It's pinned to the top of the chat.
Oh, okay. Oh, you don't see nothing pinned over here, though.
And then the channel patch. Whew. And a bunch of stickers, random stickers, ones that I've done. Oops. Uh-oh. Having trouble. There
They
we go.
printed them upside down.
Yeah. So that'll be in about a month when the overnight hits 100. So,
100 years old.
Awesome.
well, it's almost 4 years old actually. But since we only do it every other week, it's only 100 episodes. Oh, we can
Fries,
look at
onion rings, curly rings, or salad.
that one's for New York Outcasts.
Obviously.
I'll bring up the poll. There we go. Best side for a burger: fries, onion rings, curly fries, or a salad. And fries, 48%. Well, let me refresh it.
I just put
We're
onion
up
rings.
to date.
I wrote onion rings in there.
48% for fries, 29% for onion rings, 22% for curly fries, 1% for salad. So it's probably Rob said salad.
Probably.
I'm not so sure what's the idea of curly fries.
I like curly fries.
I mean, they're
Curly
okay.
fries are pretty good.
Eat. They don't eat well. You know what I mean? Like they're depending on who makes them, they can get all plumped up, and then even if they're perfect, you don't really dip them in ketchup that easy. So
I don't dip them in ketchup.
Mm.
you just eat them raw.
I raw dog it.
Mm.
That's right. Honestly,
Maybe
I
cheese.
find when I do want to dip a curly fry in ketchup, like I find it easier to dip because a lot of times they'll be a tight spiral and they fit inside the ketchup container very well.
Oh my goodness, you're using ketchup containers. See, so I think of curly fries as something that's an opportunity to drizzle. So you would either get it drizzled or you would drizzle it.
Are you on your right microphone, G-Webs? Your kind of
I'm not. No.
volume's a little low.
I'm not. We're gonna restart. Go back.
Yeah, I put a caveat in the comments because I could have went a couple ways on this one.
I like I like all the choices, but fries is an everyday. I could have them every day
Right?
as compared to the others, but I really like onion rings. Good real onion rings.
Yes.
Occasionally, you're just in the mood for onion rings too.
Not that Burger King bullshit.
What the one good thing about the minced style like Burger King uses is they're consistent, so you know you're going to get a given quantity. Whereas if they're real onion rings, you might end up with 2. You never know how many you're going to get, but they're not. They're definitely not as good as a real onion
Yes.
But on the other hand, the minced ones won't leave you holding the outside while the inside of it ended up coming out all in one strand, which invariably happens.
ring. Yeah.
That's okay. I vote tapeworm every time.
And then the curly fries, I like curly fries. I like the Arby's.
Yeah, that's an Arby's thing.
They
Yeah.
have good curly fries. I had last year at the state fair, they had these bricks of curly fries. They were terrible. I mean, no seasoning on them. They were really
man.
dry. They were awful.
But as rarely as I go to Arby's, usually when I go to Arby's, I'll get the curly fries because that's my one time out of 25 or 30 that I get them. So
Yeah, that's. I think that's pretty much the only time I'll get it.
occasionally roast beef just sounds good. Yeah, then you got to have the curly fries to go with it.
Well, I'll get the chicken cordon bleu sandwich.
Ours doesn't have that anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been at least a year since I've been to Arby's, so that,
They
I
used
don't know,
to have
maybe
some
they got
really
rid of them.
good gyros there too, but boy, they were messy to eat, but they were tasty.
Yeah, like the Euros. Arby's here hasn't had the cordon bleu in, I mean, many years. So
so looking at the comments, let me make sure we get all of them. There we go. So FUKUT Mark 6. What, no cheese sticks? Fine Ape said sweet potato fries. I do not like sweet potato fries. French fries should not be sweet. Justin Grimm likes cheese balls. Chris Lang said tots. For some reason, YouTube wants to translate it into English. Wonder what happens if you
Totas.
It changes it to everyone.
Oh wow!
From what language?
Totas.
Is that Spanish?
No, YouTube language, I guess. If they think tots is a different language.
Yeah, YouTube translates tots into everyone. So Chris Lang likes everyone.
Isn't that sweet?
Swell guy.
Krabby Turtle said potato chips. Tim Allen said if curly fries are not an option, then regular fries will do. Onion rings are a good every once in a while thing. Guns Barbecue said the correct answer is always tapeworm. Gizzard Gary said fries usually, rings only once in a great while.
Preferably if you're not going to be driving down the road to eat them, because onion rings tend to fall apart and you end up with coating all over your seats. And
I don't eat in the car. I mean, if we're stationary, but I don't eat if we're driving, and I prefer not to eat in the car.
And I've been known to go through the drive-thru and then park once I get out of there and wait for 10 minutes to eat and then take off. Yeah, I've done that.
If we're traveling, then yeah, I'll do that. But around town, no. You don't eat in the car. It's just too messy. I don't want my car messed up. 2-4 USA. 2A4 USA. All right. Said yams are not potatoes.
I agree.
M. Gabriel said, is it Arby's that mushroom Swiss burger? I don't think I've had a mushroom Swiss burger from Arby's. I do like
Arby's does, I think.
I do like mushroom burgers, but I usually have half order of mushrooms. Mr. Bob Dabalina said onion bricks are a grand treat. And curly fries seem greasier.
Yeah,
to him.
They are.
Caveat is too bougie for hamburgers.
Caviar or caviar.
Caviar. I've never had caviar.
I haven't either.
Should have had jalapeno poppers on the list.
Well, since I did pictures, you can only do 4. So
Too many places that you drive through. Well, Sonic, you can get them, I think. They also have tater tots, which occasionally tater tots are a good option.
Vulcan Rumbles said Guns Barbecue. I have decided to add barbecue pork taco to my diet. I like steak fries, sweet potato fries.
Oh, steak fries? I'm not a fan of. That's those like
the fatter ones,
wide ones. Yeah.
I mean, they can be okay. I can see them when people are eating
a steak or whatever, and they sop up all the blood or whatever. But for just like eating as without something like that, then they're too much like a baked potato or something for me.
2A for USA, I picked curly fries and then changed to onion rings. It's 50-50.
You ever been to a place
and then they got good both? So you just say half and half, and then they give you some of each. That'll work. Some restaurants will do that.
I haven't,
Oh, well, come on.
but I do enjoy when you get that random. If you get fries, you get that random onion ring, or you get onion rings, you get that random fry.
Yes.
It's like a bonus.
It's an indication that they don't know what's going on in the kitchen. I'm usually skeptical about that kind of like, oh, look, I found a thing on my plate that I didn't order.
Look, a
Now
finger.
I wonder what's going on in there.
Well, if my general rule is if I enjoy the way it tastes, don't think about it.
Ooh. Have you worked in a kitchen before?
Yep. You're better off not knowing. Ozzy Osbourne said he voted curly.
I really enjoy bag fries.
What?
The
Bag
ones
fry.
that spill out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I would like to take a bag of fries or a thing of fries. Let's say you get an order of fries, get them in its own bag, and ideally as close to being out of the fryer as possible. You dump them out into the bag, and then you open up a couple of things of salt and pepper in there, and then you shake up the bag, you blow into it, and you shake it up, and then you end up with salt and pepper fries. I thought you were saying something like that.
Oh, no.
See, the nice thing about fries is I can make my own with my air fryer.
Mhm.
I don't really keep the stuff around to make onion rings, but fries are pretty easy.
Well, all you gotta do is buy a bag of frozen onion rings and then put them in there.
Well, yeah,
That sounds hideous.
but fries, you just take a
99% of onion rings are frozen when you eat them.
Just take a potato and a good knife, and you can have fries in minutes.
For store-bought frozen, the Red Robin? I forget which one.
Too expensive.
But they're the best tasting
Onion rings?
Yep.
Really?
If all the other onion rings
These are $5. Red Robins are like $8, so I've never ate them.
Vulcan Rebel said, just so you know, I went to a new burger joint in my neighborhood. It's in Hyannis, Massachusetts. That's the second one. The original shop is in New Orleans, LA. Louisiana. Its name is The Knack. You can get my Sharona there. And Mr. Bob said caviar tastes like salted trout bait.
That sounds hideous.
And Ozzy said Culver's has good mushroom and Swiss.
Is there Culver's everywhere yet?
No.
I don't think there's one here.
We got them around here.
They make
in the bigger cities.
custard. Is that their deal? They don't make ice cream. They make custard, and then they make these like cheese
Butter
things.
burgers. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about the burgers, but they make like
cheese curds that you buy. That are they fried? Yeah, right. They're like little fried chunks of cheese, or are they just cooked? I don't remember.
I think
I've had them a couple of times.
Sounds good.
You haven't had them?
Don't think so. Sounds good.
It's like somebody like they're little tiny knots of like mozzarella cheese, sort of, and then I'm pretty sure they're fried. It's been a while, so it's been years since I've had them. But anyway, that was like their thing when they moved to town. Everybody was like, "Oh, they got cheese curds. You got to go over there and get cheese curds."
Yeah, cheese curds are big in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, I got them in Wisconsin.
You get the gas station in Wisconsin, but in Wisconsin they're cheddar and white, so you get two different kinds. The ones at Culver's are just like mozzarella. So it's like eating a mozzarella stick, except if you took like a half the amount of cheese and tied it in a knot. Like, you know, like the cheese has a grain to it, like they tie it in a knot, so it's like a little clump of cheese. I mean, it's probably something in the process of making mozzarella before they squish it.
Gunmetal Guy USA's out there. Good evening. Vulcan Rumble said $12 burgers. British Beer Works charges $20 covered with fried egg. I do like a burger with fried egg.
$8 for a fried egg.
Yep.
Wow.
With an over easy, so it's runny. Really tastes really good, but you end up wearing it. The
Thank you.
Red Robin Royal has an egg on it. It's pretty good. It's
I
just
prefer
messy.
over medium.
M. Gabriel, Mrs. Roy Roger, the singing cowboy.
You ever been to the restaurant?
No, I haven't. I've had a Roy Rogers, the non-alcoholic drink.
Well, they have a restaurant, and it's like McDonald's kind of, but it was in the malls always. I always went to it in the mall.
I had heard of them, but never saw one.
I think they're limited fries, if I remember right. You could keep going back up and just keep getting fries, and then they'd kick you out after a while because a bunch of kids hanging out in the mall eating free fries all day didn't work out for their business plan.
2A4 USA said Culver's has a curd burger now.
Oh. I never ate their hamburger, of course. So what? It's got like butter in it or something, or they cook it in like boiled in butter.
And he lives in Wisconsin.
You know what's good about Wisconsin? It's not Minnesota. I used to like Minnesota until they started going anti-gun and being a bunch of a-holes up there. Well, the people that are anti-gun.
Yeah, I was surprised at how liberal they are.
Well, I'm not. They've always been a weird state, but you can be weird without going anti-gun, in my opinion. They got a lot of fish there. There's no point. There's no reason for them to be anti-gun. They're right next to Canada, a bunch of criminals.
I have a half brother that he grew up in Minnesota, and
Minnesota.
His sister, well, his wife's family, I think they're Wisconsin, and his sister-in-law. It's to me, being from the West Coast, it's funny to listen to her because mom has an A in it when she pronounces ma'am. Where's ma'am? I've been at Skitty's out there. Whoop, where'd she go? Oh, now I'm all. Oh, wait, come on. There we go. Been at Skitty. Good morning.
Yeah, I miss having gun-toting pacifist in the chats because I always loved the way he talked. The Massachusetts accent, man.
Yeah, he's not doing a lot on YouTube lately. For a while now. Every once and again, I'll see him pop up.
Every once in a while, yeah.
I think I'm more on Instagram than on YouTube. Let me stop. There we go. Oh, and I have to call out Artak and Daughters. If you watch this in replay, Artak, he suckered me into buying another optic. He'll show if he finds good deals, he'll put them up on his community tab. And Palmetto State had the Swamp Fox Justice for $100.
Oh wow!
The Gen 1, not the Gen 2s. The Gen 2s are a little bit bigger. But
I don't have the Justice. I have the Liberty, I believe.
So I ended up I bought one because I couldn't pass up a good deal. But I didn't have, a gun cut for an RMR. So I had to buy one. So I put something on layaway. And I'll probably, I paid about half of it off start. So I'll probably pay it off next month. But I'm not going to tell anybody. Oh, I did tell Barbecue because he was first in the chat, so he got to hear. But,
I'll take it to the grave.
So when I pick it up, then everybody will get to see it. I had not intended on buying it, but I now had a red dot that I needed something to put it on.
So did
And-
you get the protective thing to go on it?
No. I wasn't sure if it came with something because on the.
Yeah, you got to pay extra for
Oh, okay. And trying to find something cut for a red dot, I had trouble finding anything that I would want. Because, I thought maybe a G20, another. I have a G20 and I really like it. So I thought, well, maybe a G20 Gen 5 MOS. It's like, well, I don't really need 2 Glock 20s. Was looking at the M&P 2.0 metal in 40. Thought maybe that, because that's the only M&P that kind of interests me. But does it interest me enough to buy it?
It'd be a nice gun.
And most of the stuff that's out there that's in a lower price range, you're looking at the like Canics and stuff, and I don't really want a Canic. They're a good value. You get a lot of stuff with them, but it's not what I want. So stumbled across what I bought, and so hopefully about a month I can do the paperwork and then wait the month. There's a mandatory 10-day wait period in Washington on everything now.
Ouch.
Yeah, because that one extra gun is the most dangerous. Vulcan Rumble said, have you seen the deals on the HK VP9 now that the CC9 is available? I did. I kind of looked at those and kind of looked at the Walthers, but I know Walther is supposed to have the best trigger for striker fire, but I don't like the triggers. There's just something about them I don't like. And I'm not saying they're bad. It's just I don't like the feel of them. Mr. Bob said a right delayed is a right denied. Yes, I agree. And Ozzy said the only thing I have optics cut is a Taurus G3C Toro. Oh, but I blame RTAC for all this. I am weak-willed, and I feel like he preyed upon my weakness and forced me to buy a red dot and buy a new gun.
Wait till I show you the new Civivi knives that are coming out.
Oh, you're just as bad. Every time Gary starts talking knives, I end up on like Blade HQ looking at knives.
I just got 2 brand new ones today.
Yeah. M. Gabriel said Canic has the Walther triggers. Should I give a prize to anybody that can guess what I bought?
What kind of prize?
Do I get to enter?
No, you don't.
Oh, then no, you don't. No, you don't need to give a prize. No.
I don't know. What should we give away? I still have like a She Fires mug we could give away, or there's lots of stuff we could give away. I've got a bowl full of cough drops. I'll give you some cough drops.
Nice. Still in the wrapper, even.
Yeah. But you'll have to. How specific should it be? The brand, and the model? Or is that too much?
Ozzy's already got a guess in.
Sig Pre 320. I will say I did look at those. But I pretty much looked at everything.
You wouldn't buy a 320. It's striker fired.
I would go with brand first, maybe, and then say there's a tie between two people that guess the same brand, then hopefully one of them guess the right model.
Well, the only problem is do I limit the amount of guesses because somebody could just list every brand?
That's true. First guess is the one they're locked into.
Okay, we'll go with that. So if you can guess the brand and then if there's a tie, we'll go with model.
Your giveaway. So
I don't know. It's kind of a last minute ill-conceived idea.
Brand sounds good. Model for a tiebreaker sounds good.
M. Gabriel asks, will we have to wait 30 days for the prize? I don't know. Well, I will say if somebody gets it, if somebody gets both the brand and the model, then
They get the gun.
Sweet.
no. I almost had thought about giving away that red dot. It's like, well, I bought a red dot that I can't use. Should I give it away? It's like, no, I'll buy a gun.
Yes, that's a much better thing to do. But I will let the audience know. I mean, since I do know the make and/or model, I can be bought. I could use one of those Swamp Fox Justices. I have a M&P 10mm that needs an optic since I've bought it. So
The Saints out there said overnight 100s coming up. Yep, that is. I don't know if you saw. I showed off some of the prizes, a couple patches that I bought just for the giveaway. They see you in hell and don't be a cuntosaurus.
I've got to know where you found that one.
Just Amazon. Looking for morale patches on Amazon.
Well, I'll be back.
And then some survival cards. They're little breakout things. There are, I think, six cards in the pack. And then I've actually got two because it came with two, and it's like $11 for two of these sets. But I think I'll do one of these sets, and then the other will be the Grim Survival. Was it Grim Survival? What was this one? Grim Workshop ones, where there's a set of hooks and weights, and then there's a card with lures, same size. And then patches and stickers. The Saint said Taurus. Ozzy said Taurus TH10. I do really want a TH10. 2A said HK CC9. Ozzy said George. I did not buy George to put a red dot on him. I don't think it would fit. And I don't know if you want a laser guided cat. Mr. Bob said a Glock and 45 gap. I kind of do want a Glock and 45 gap just because it's something weird. So,
to Minnesota, where every moment is an adventure. From the tranquil natural beauty of our waters to the rich culture of our cities, Minnesota is where unforgettable memories are made. Go inside now! Get in the hell! Step into friendly neighborhoods that make you feel right.
You see this?
The moment you arrive.
Oh,
Vibrant streets.
you don't want to watch that part.
Soak in the energy of our dynamic nightlife.
This is the summer of love, I
Indulge
guess.
in a shopping spree at one of our world-class boutiques. And behind it
what
all,
is it?
strong leadership.
It's like all the bad stuff that ever happened in Minnesota to like that audio, but then it's showing like the summer of love, like all the riots and shit that happened in Minnesota when Tom Walz was like, everyone should just leave people alone and let them do whatever he's saying as governor.
Yeah.
Like letting people burn down the cities.
Mr. Bob said it's fun to have a unicorn in the gun safe. Yeah, there's lots of stuff I'd like to have. But now with all the newer laws that passed in Washington, there's lots of stuff that I can't have anymore. And I don't know if it's because I can't have it anymore, but I kind of want an AK now. But I don't know if that's because I've never really wanted one. But I'm kind of thinking it might just be because now they tell me I can't have one. So I want one. And we'll see if the Supreme Court takes up that assault weapons ban case. And listening to the 4-Box Diner, he was kind of talking about the case for the 18-year-olds being able to buy guns that the Supreme Court remanded, sent back down to the lower courts, which might be a good sign because they only take just a few cases that might be gun related. And by sending that one back down, that still leaves a spot open to take a gun case. Which, I don't know. Just hopeful.
I think you might have that a little mixed up. The case they remanded was a case here in PA that when the governor declares a state of emergency, keeps 18 to 20-year-olds from carrying, which is redundant because they can't purchase handguns from an FFL anyways. But Pennsylvania has law where all handguns have to be transferred. So 18 to 20-year-olds cannot purchase handguns no matter what, because even in a private sale, you'd have to go to an FFL to do the transfer, at which point wouldn't be able to do it. So, and that's the case that remanded, but he was saying he thinks that where the heck is that case out of? I don't remember. That's the better case anyways, because it actually deals with the federal law that prevents 18 to 20-year-olds from purchasing handguns through an FFL. And like this PA case, like I said, it only deals with, the governor issuing a state of emergency, which at the same time, when the governor issues a state of emergency, it makes our ability to open carry null and void unless you have a concealed carry permit at that point as well, which is something else here in PA that they won't give you a concealed carry permit until you're 21. So even if, all those other hoops, could have been jumped through, then once that were to happen, then they wouldn't be able to carry anyways if they were just open carrying because so.
Yeah. So, well, fingers crossed. 2A for USA said 22 zip. No. Those are kind of funky, kind of cool, funky from what I hear. Not great. I know G-Webs has talked about them before, their original purpose.
Yeah, I don't think they're not great. I think they're an awesome gun. People that get paid to just say divisive shit say they suck. People that don't like guns say they suck. I don't want to be in that group. I like the gun.
Well, I've never seen one in person. And Ozzy said I misspoke. I also have a SIG P320X10 that's optic cut, but don't have an optic on it. Toy said he's just throwing guesses out there. But it was kind of a good sign that where is that case out of? Illinois? Is that Illinois?
Which one? The one that got remanded? Or...
No. The assault weapons ban case.
Oh, I'm not sure which one they took.
But
there's so many of them right now.
The state had asked for a 30-day extension, which they were given, and then they asked for another 30-day extension, which the Supreme Court said no, we'll give you like 2 weeks, which keeps it in this year, this current session, for consideration. If they gave them another 30 days, it would push it until next year, the next session. Ozzy said probably Maryland. I can't remember which one it is. I don't know. Any other big news? What's going on right now?
Anybody watch the Kamala interview on CNN?
As a press secretary interview.
I think it was CNN.
No.
It's pretty bad.
I don't. Was it the Fox one or CNN?
Oh, it could have been Fox. She was sitting with some dude. I don't know. I'm trying to watch it.
Oh, no,
it might have been Fox because it's Fox interviewing.
I didn't watch it. I haven't watched any interview or press conference or rally. It's not going to affect the way I'm going to vote. So,
yeah. I guess I watch I didn't watch it. I watched clips of it on X as I'm scrolling through here. But
I heard it's pretty bad.
Yeah, you watch it from one angle, and she was just a mess. And then people will
will respond to her channel, so I see her post, which is, obviously like a clip that she found to be the best of it or whatever, and it was, not great, but it was at least not horrible from her angle. Anyway, I was just wondering if anybody's paying attention. I guess I watch them to get try to get an idea of which way people might be going. But the thing is, just because she failed miserably, let's say, doesn't mean that anybody watched it or that they're going to hear that she failed miserably, because she's going to spin it that, I was attacked in this interview and it was a bad interview because I was attacked, or something like that. So I don't know. But anyway, you figure you watch some of these things and maybe you get an idea of which way it might go. But you're right. It's just, I don't want to say delusional, but it's tiny little pieces in a big piece in a big puzzle. So I guess you're not going to really.
Oh, it's so hard to gauge because, depending on who's saying it, how they're going to lean their commentary. And, you look at when Trump won the presidency, he was behind in the polls. So everybody was saying that Hillary was going to take it, but so I don't really pay attention to it. Mr. Bob said the case with the 10-day extension granted by SCOTUS is a Maryland assault weapons case. And the Saint said a High Point YC9. Oh, High Points are... I don't foresee ever buying one. They are cheap. Well, we'll say affordable. And they're kind of weird that Zamek slide, the noise it makes is different. But it's so heavy that there's no recoil even in 10 millimeter. They're cheap and they work. Anybody watch any new movies?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's hear what Gizzard watched.
I haven't watched any movies in a while.
How do you not watch movies? Like, I got movies playing all the time. I don't know how you do things without movies playing all the time.
TV's clear in the other room.
I watch them on the computers. But I guess I have to go to here. Have you seen any new ones? Anybody else? Barbecue never watches any movies.
I don't watch movies.
There's the new Alien.
I haven't.
At least the new Alien came out with better video. It's been out for a while.
I started watching a series and I couldn't even tell you what it is. Oh, the Sherlock, the one from the BBC with the Cumberbatch.
Oh wait, I don't know who that is. Is that the new one, or is that one from a while ago?
No, it's a newer one.
Okay.
I really like the one with Jeremy Brett, the BBC one, the older one. I have it on DVD, the whole series on DVD. But the newer one, I kind of like it. And they mash up the different stories. So you'll get elements from it's not like a direct translation of the books, but they'll take elements of different books and then put put them in stories. Oh,
Is that an effort to be different, or just some sort of like creative thing, like they think that's cooler or something?
probably a little everything, and to try to modernize it. And
Oh shit! There's a good one. I'm going through and looking. I think I already asked you about Killer's Game. I don't know if you like that kind of movie, like action. You seen dang, what was the name of that movie where there's like a hotel? There was two of them, but the first one, there's a hotel and there's some kind of thing at the top floor of the hotel, and all these different assassins are trying to get to this guy at the top level of the hotel. And
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. No. Smoking Aces.
Smoking Aces. It's kind of, dude, if you like that movie, this movie is kind of like that one. Because it's weird. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff going on.
I did like Smoking Aces. The ending, there were, I think, 3 different endings.
I think that's one of the movies that they did that with. And I already talked about Saturday Night, right? Like the movie that's about to be.
Yeah.
So I guess there's just a couple. So Caddo Lake, Caddo Lake. Caddo Lake is how they say it in the movie. It's about a lake in Texas, and it is an excellent movie. It takes a minute, like you forget. I was watching Matt's show, and he said, "Oh, you got to watch this movie; it's so good." And then I started watching it, and I'm like, "Who am I watching this movie for?" Because it seems like just a drama movie or something. It's like about a family and blah blah blah, and then it starts turning into a sci-fi movie, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this is a good movie." So I won't mess with it, other than to say, if you like sci-fi that are intricate, like involved or whatever, like really good plots that they're not just giving you the plot 5 minutes into the movie and then you have to watch it come through. Really good movie. Caddo Lake. Nobody. I put a poll up about it, but nobody seems to give a shit about it.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, I never heard of it until Matt said something. And it's not like it's. I think it's stars, but it's nobody I never heard of before. Dylan O'Brien, Elijah Schlein or something, Lauren Ambrose. I don't know who those people are. I think I've seen some of them. But this is definitely the best movie this week. It's called The Conqueror, Hollywood Fallout. And it is from this year. And it is a documentary about the movie The Conqueror. So, Gizzard, have you seen that movie? It's from 1956 or something. 1954.
No, I can't say as I have.
Nobody has, because it's a John Wayne movie made by Howard Hughes. So everybody knows who Howard Hughes is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Super rich guy, and then he went weird, and he made movies, and he owned all the airplanes, right? So, or he built all the airplanes, I guess. He makes this movie. It's his last movie, and it's a movie where he spends a bunch of money because all of his movies were big movies like that. It's about Genghis Khan, and John Wayne is cast to play Genghis Khan. And then they want to make it, about Genghis Khan. So they try to find some place that's a desert. They go to George, Utah. What's the name of that Georgetown? That's south, just by Vegas. St. George. I think it's St. George, Utah. They go to. So essentially, if you look at a map, Arizona, Nevada, and Utah all smashed together right by the Grand Canyon in Las Vegas. This is Utah's part of that, like right where. Vegas and Utah and Arizona all come together. That's where St. George is. So that's where they go film this movie. Well, they also did all the atomic testing in Nevada, west of there, and there was nothing but fallout everywhere. That's the long story short, is there's nothing but fallout. And they make this movie running around with horses and stuff in the dust. Everybody in the movie gets cancer. Everybody in the town has cancer already, and they don't know it because it was up back in the day. So they do the nuclear testing. And they did a shit ton of nuclear testing in Nevada, like a lot of it. And then they, have all this fallout hit the deserts and it's just sitting there. Then they go out and tear around with horses and do stuff. And they take 64 tons or something like this of that desert and bring it to Hollywood to spread it out in a soundstage so they can do all the internal shots. So all the internal shots are done in a giant building with all this dirt on the ground. And all those scenes and stuff.
So the actors are all like smeared around in this mud constantly. Everybody gets cancer. Everybody gets cancer. And in the end, it's a documentary about the whole thing. In the end, the government set up a fund, like a super fund or whatever, to help pay for the people in St. George and other people affected by it, but everybody in that movie. And it all ended in July of 2024. So all the fund money ran out. But wow, like I had no idea. So really interesting movie where, nobody knew at the time, obviously. But then, once it was all figured out, like, just, and the movie sucked. Everybody hated the movie. Well, the movie came out. Everybody liked the movie. But it's one of those movies where everybody is dressed up to be a different race than they are. So everybody's got tape and stuff on their eyes to make them look like they're Oriental or Asian. And it was like one of the last movies that they did that. And there's like no, except for some Indians that lived in Utah that they hired to be Mongolians, like everybody in it is just a white actor acting like an Asian. So it was like one of the last movies that they did that. And Howard Hughes bought all the movies. Like it came out, it made money, but he spent so much money promoting it that it was a wash essentially. And then he spent a bunch of money buying every movie reel back again. So no one had even seen the movie after it came out. No one even seen it until I forget when, probably sometime after he died and everything was, legally, able to be seen again. But the dude spent the last part of his life just sitting there watching that movie over and over and over again because he was all weird. He would sit there watching that movie over and over and nobody knows why. And there's all kinds of speculation. And then anyway, really interesting documentary made by John Wayne's kid and a bunch of people who are, I guess, the descendants of the people in St. George who essentially, were minding their business. They got a bunch of fallout. They would sit there and have parties and watch the nuclear bombs go off because they could see them from, kind of over the horizon, the next state over. They'd see these giant bombs go off. And then next minute, next thing they know, there's a giant movie being made. So that's like the whole town becomes extras in the movie and is involved with every aspect of making the movie. And then years later, all the stuff that comes through. So anyway, I definitely recommend it if you're interested in seeing all the stuff I just described there way better. I guess that was the only two then that were good this week.
284 USA said his first handgun was an Iberia 40 Smith & Wesson. And I looked it up because I was not familiar with that. And it kind of looks like
looks like early High Point.
Well, yeah, looking at the pictures, when I looked up Iberia 40 and then switched it to pictures, it gives you a lot of high points too. But it kind of looks like a Makarov made out of Play-Doh.
Well, it could have. There was like 3 companies that created High Point or that like evolved into High Point. It could have been one of them then. Lee Miller and something else and something else.
Haskell.
And it was like one company came up with the idea and then had other factories build it or something. But yeah, it looks pretty neat.
They said it's an early High Point.
Those are worth something probably.
And Mr. Bob said his first pistol was a Smith & Wesson Model 10 Heavy Barrel 38 Special. Needed it for a job. Traded it to my dad for a national match 1911 he carried in the 60s. He sold the 38, but I still have the Colt.
So you buy a gun and you like it or not, but somebody else really likes it, so you sell it to him or trade it to him, and then that person gets rid of that gun. Is that good? Or is that good to go? Or is that lame? I feel like if you buy a gun off of me or I buy a gun off of you and I don't want it no more, or you don't want it anymore, I feel like the respectful thing is to go back to that person you got it from and go, hey, you want it back? Before you just sell it to some stranger, because it's their fucking gun. But that me, or it's just a
Ooh, I don't know. If
maybe if it's a commodity gun like an AR lower or something, that just doesn't matter. But man, even then, like something about the serial number or some reason you bought it, like I double check with my friend or whoever before I sold it. I think, or at least try to, right?
I probably would offer it back to them.
Yeah, like what he's saying, first right of refusal, right? Like I think that's a given.
But if I don't know, if I sold it to somebody, it would kind of depend on if I cared about the gun. You know, if it was
But
like
that's the
if
thing,
so,
you can never know, right? Like, or at least I would assume I never know.
well, if I'm selling it to somebody, like if it was my PK380, I would not care what they did with it. Because I still have it. It's, you know, just in the safe, but I don't like it.
But
I
people
don't
change their mind too. So you could be like, I'm never shooting 22s again. I hate 22s, and I'm getting rid of all my 22s. And you sell it to some friends, and then your friends are like, I hate 22s. I'm getting rid of them. But then you've changed your mind. Now you're shooting 22s all the time. You probably want your 22 back.
I don't know. I don't have any guns that are sentimental. I mean, if I had ever able to get my dad's service revolver, that one, yeah, I would probably say I would be attached to that one. And then if I sold it to somebody for some reason, you know, they needed it or really wanted it, then I would probably want to be able to get it back if they were going to get rid of it. But other than that, I wouldn't. You know, I have guns that I like, but nothing that I'm attached to.
Yeah, he says, Bob saying, if you sell it to a stranger, all bets are off. Yeah, I agree. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's somebody you know, I think I'd do that.
I probably would offer it back to them, you know, because they're a friend, and just if you know, see if they wanted it or not. Anybody else? Barbecue, are you still awake?
He don't sell guns.
He might have fallen asleep.
Making a grilled cheese sandwich.
Gary,
Yes.
how about you?
What's the question again?
You sell a gun, or somebody sells a gun to you, and then that person or you get sick of that gun.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there an implied? I'm going to ask that person I got it from. Do you want it back again before you just go sell it to the gun shop or whoever?
Nah,
Oh,
not in my opinion. If I wanted it that bad, I would have kept it. Now, if I had sold it because I was in dire consequences or something like that and had to raise money quickly, and a friend bought it, then they might realize it once I got into a little bit better financial shape or whatever, that I might want to buy it back. But I've never been in that position.
So what was your first gun, Gary? I know I've heard you say it before, but I don't remember what it was.
Handgun wise,
Yes.
it's a Taurus TCP. I still have it.
I'm just looking up pictures so I can show everybody your A Taurus TCP.
Mine was black and black, but yeah, that's it essentially.
What was yours, G-Web? Do you remember? First one that you bought.
First one that I bought, I said I bought I stood in line waiting for a shotgun at the store to open. So I was sitting there in line waiting for the store to open.
And that kicked off your love of shotguns?
No, I just didn't hate them, but that was the only thing I could buy, like money wise and legally wise or whatever. I wasn't gonna like save up, you know what I mean? Or at least that's my mindset. I wasn't gonna save up. I can't remember. I think I also figured, because this was before you could carry. Like, nobody could carry back then. Like, that wasn't a thing. The only people carrying were cops and retired cops and agents and shit. So, and bad guys. So, I didn't even consider a carry gun. So, when you're looking at back in the day, this is a long time ago, before ARs were just all huge M16s looking things. You know, they were all 20-inch barrels or whatever, and full. I don't know how long they are when they're, they didn't even have collapsible stocks on them half the time. So ARs were out of the question. There was no accessories or anything for them. No one would have even considered one for anything. So it would have been more like lever action or probably a stupid Mini 14 or something, and then a shotgun. But something that I could drive around the country with. So I knew I was going to be driving around the country. So I wanted to get something that would be, essentially whatever the word is, where nobody would care about it. It wouldn't bother anybody.
Yeah.
So pump shotgun is the way to go. And I've always liked Remingtons over Mossbergs personally. I don't even think we owned Mossbergs when I was a kid.
Vulcan Rumble's asking, has anyone found the app at the Gun Something website?
No.
I'm not sure what he's asking.
But I also don't use any gun apps.
I don't either. Oh, my first gun that I bought myself was the Agent KP30. Still have it. Used to carry it. Now it's a bedside gun. In 40 cal. Because I like 40 cal. Because I like to be different. Oh.
What people out there say with their guns. This isn't the first time you asked about first guns, though.
No. It just kind of came up in the comments, so we started talking about it again. 284 USA said I could open carry from the age of 18. Concealed carry was passed here in 2012. I'm not sure about Washington. As we're an open carry state, you don't need a license to open carry. You only need a license to concealed carry, but I don't know when it was enacted. And Trying to see what Google wants to tell me. Well, it doesn't say when it was enacted. Just says that it is a thing. So I think it would take a little bit of digging, which I don't feel like doing right now. So, I remember, though, yeah, I don't remember carry wise. I know, when was Christine Gregoire the governor? I don't even know how to spell her name. So sometime between 2005 and 2013, I think kind of in the middle of that is when suppressors were legalized in Washington. I remember that. So I was surprised by that.
I don't know. I don't want to interfere with the poll or anything, or I mean with the bracket that we're going to be doing later. But what if people were to answer the question, what shooting sport would you participate in if you had all the time and money to gear up and have the time to do it?
So what shooting sport would you participate in if you had the time and the money?
Right.
I don't know. I've always kind of wanted to do, I can never remember if it's skeet or trap. I can never remember what the difference is between the two. Never done either of those. Long range shooting would seem cool, but you need a lot of patience, and I don't always have a lot of patience. I don't know if I would do like the US. What are the shooting sport ones? USPCA,
USPSA, and US or dang it, I can't think of the DP, the
USPSA.
USPSA and US. Dang, it's not a blank.
I don't know. Then there's like the SAS. But one of the problems with I've never watched them in person. I've only seen like clips. But when they tell you a certain order to shoot stuff, I would struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
Remembering.
IDPA was the other one. So USPSA and IDPA are both defensive. So they're both from trying to create scenarios that are based off of real life, where SAS, single action shooting, is cowboy, and it's really just speed shooting, but everybody dresses up like cowboys. But there's almost nothing. It's like I would almost do it if the shooting wasn't so weird. Like, to me, the shooting seems like it's not really, it's different kind of shooting. It's like you're shooting so fast. Like, I'd rather do something that maybe a moving target, or I don't know, something that's, oh, you know what? There's also a draw. Have you ever seen the SAS draw type of competitions?
They're leaning backwards.
Kind of, yeah. A lot of people shoot that way, but there's two people shooting at two targets next to each other.
Yeah,
and they're essentially shooting who's faster at the, between the two people, and not just how fast you are. At least that kind of seems like more interesting than just the
when they're fanning the revolver and then they quickly grab a lever action and they fan that, essentially they're just like slam firing that, and then they shoot a shotgun and they slam fire that. It's neat, but I don't want to shoot that fast, and I can't shoot that fast. So, I just don't want to participate.
The guns are heavily modified.
Yeah.
It just seems
like a SAS shotgun, a double barrel coach gun. They're going to have, ideally, their hammers right next to each other, when in reality, hammers are far away.
Like the lever guns are short stroke.
Yep.
And it just, if the whole purpose is to be, to emulate old timey, then the modifications they do seems to kind of ruin it for me.
Well, but the thing is, depending on which modification, back in the old days when nobody had nothing to do, they modified the crap out of their guns. So modifying guns isn't technically inaccurate. It's just, I don't know if it's the way that they modified them back in the day. Like if somebody was trying to shoot both barrels, they would put, there are guns that are made with the hammers next to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like the hammers can either be like out towards the like review mirrors on a car, or else they can be together. And when they're together, they lend themselves to one thumb coming up and cocking both hammers. So now you could potentially shoot both barrels at the same time. Or if you got two triggers, you could cock it at once and then, be able to shoot twice. So that's not, I don't know if that was a modification they did, but I know that nowadays people will heat up the hammers and bend them over, like literally if they're too far to the sides, like review mirrors, for their style or their taste. But I know they did stuff back in the day too. So.
And Mr. Bob said skeet is a set patterns of clay, and trap, the clays can come from anywhere.
Well,
I know I
center and go outward, and then skeet, they come from towers on the outsides, and you shoot them both in like a pattern on the ground that's similar, but one is to simulate like a tree bird that comes from the trees, like a dove or something, and the other is to simulate like a pheasant or something that comes up from the ground in front of you, like a quail or something. So they're different for that.
I've watched competitions where like they'll roll along the ground.
Yeah, that's the bouncers. Those are 5 stand, and then what do they call the other one? But anyway, the other one where you walk around, that's just a rabbit.
Then another one where there was a grid. So when you shot the clay, it had to be in a certain square on the grid.
That one I think I've seen. I totally forgot about that one, and I don't know what that's called. That's interesting. That would be fun, especially once you're good at regular trap or skeet. It's not hard to get bad at or get good at trap or skeet. Sporting clays things. That was the other one. Sporting clays is the fun. Well, 5 stand and sporting clays are super fun. I want to be able to do like those with rifles. That would be amazing.
But at the Thunder on the Prairie last year, part of the shooting competition, they had, I think it was like 5 or 6 plates, and then you drew a card, and it gave you the order. They were all painted different colors. You drew a card, and it showed you the order you had to shoot the plates, but you had to remember the order. You couldn't reference the card. I looked at the card, put it down, and immediately forgot what the order was, which didn't matter because I missed most of the plates anyways.
That sounds like a IPSC or a USPSA type scenario. They like to do stuff like that, give you your mind something to do while you're shooting instead of just muscle reflex or whatever.
Mr. Bob said a Hogan's Alley style range would be fun competition to shoot. That's the FBI live fire training.
When we went to Front Sight, we were able to shoot in buildings. Like they have 360-degree areas with buildings built in them, so you can walk through the building. It's not like a movie where, at least I've never been in a situation where there's so many resources that it's like a building or like a movie where you can just go around doing all kinds of stuff. But usually in real life, even in a room like there, a situation like that where you have a berm that you have to walk into, like a 360-degree berm, you're like walking into a big crater, and then there's a house built at the bottom of it,
you're all if you're in a situation where you're being like tested, then yeah, you're gonna have like other people looking from somewhere else or with cameras or something, and then you're gonna walk around with one instructor. But in my experience, it was more the whole class goes into the building, and then you're all going through a few rooms. So like you're only, experiencing portions of it or whatever, but way better than anything else when you have to, or when you are able to go into a thing and turn a corner, even if you have some idea what's coming up, which you don't always. It's just you have to move your body and your mind has to think about stuff, and then you have to be good at shooting, and then the best part of that kind of class is you suck, right? Like nobody's good. So when you miss, you have to then wrap your head around the idea that you're not performing to where you think you'd like to perform. You're performing to where you're able to perform. And then your, dedication or your like focus on training has an opportunity to, upgrade or change. So that was neat at Front Sight where, we're doing a lot of drills and stuff. And then you might be thinking after a couple of days of drills, like, what am I doing drills for? Drills are stupid. And then you go, what's the word? Like try to apply that, I guess, techniques to real life. And then you go, oh, okay. It's not just because I know theoretically what to do doesn't mean I'm going to be able to perform it. The only thing, what's better? Okay, so that's neat, shooting real bullets at targets. But what's better, I think, or maybe, I think better, is force on force, where there's the same thing. You're in buildings with rooms and hallways and all that, with real walls and things, so you don't know what's going on around the corner. And then you have scenarios, but you have munitions or some sort of guns that you can shoot back and forth at that are close enough to real guns that you have real holsters and stuff. So it's not like paintball where it's, you're fucking around with toys, but like, you have like a thing that essentially acts like a real gun for you, but then you're able to, react and draw. And also, again, like the best part about, I don't know if there's any kind of sport that would be force on force, but that would be amazing. But the best thing about force on force is it forces you to understand that you're not perfect and you're not good, and like deal with that and get better at training or whatever, or like take training seriously.
Yeah, the only sport I could think of would be like the not paintball, but the other one with the little beads.
Paintball or airsoft? Yeah, that would be
Airsoft.
fairly similar. Yeah.
Airsoft.
I was thinking there's probably some competitions that are like, how there's like that ninja competition where people have to go through like an obstacle course. There's like operator military competitions where they'll, they got to like essentially go through an obstacle course, but it's, they might have a gun and they might be smashing through doors and having to react or, do some kind of tactic in the middle of that. But no, I haven't seen that for regular people as a sport.
There's a competition in the Ukraine going on.
Well, that one's a little tougher.
Vulcan Rumble's thinking of.
I'm pretty sure we've sent enough money over that we're going to end that pretty quick because we're sending enough money over there.
I don't know about that. Vulcan Rumble is thinking of Guns and Barbecue's brisket.
Has there ever been a brisket bracket?
I don't think so.
You think he'll hear that while he's sleeping and then wake up and be like, we should have a brisket bracket or a brisket bracket. A brisket bracket with biscuits would be divine.
Say that real fast 3 times.
I can't even say it slow once.
Oh, well, G-Webs.
We're ready for the bracket? Let's go.
No, they can't. There won't be a bracket.
Oh, what now?
Well, the bracket stayed up late watching scary movies, so the bracket turned in early tonight.
What if you lit a match, blew it out underneath the fire alarm, and then you could just be like, I don't know why the fire alarm went off, and then it would be awake and we could have that bracket.
No, he needs to sleep. He's a little older. So is there anything you want to plug, G-Webs? Anything you got coming up?
No, not really. So probably Brooke's show on Saturday. Worth checking out. One of the few things that's still happening on the weekends anymore. Well, we got barbecue. Well, we got Brooke. We've got Billy. And then every once in a while, maybe even this weekend, one of your shows. But I think a lot of the Sunday stuff has dropped off at this point, unfortunately. We got some radio shows, but anyway, Brooke's the best. Not only thing to listen to on Saturday, but the best use of our time as individuals to keep that message alive that 2 out of 3 deaths is something that's potentially preventable, or at least something that we can influence.
And Brooke is an awesome lady, and I have the ultimate respect for her. Gary, how about you? What you got coming up? What you want to tell everybody about?
Well, let's see.
Spread the good news.
I did mention that I have a couple knives from Civivi. Well, one from Civivi, one from Sencut. The Civivi, I believe, is due to be released on Monday, so I'm going to have to work on that this weekend. And so I've got some knife reviews in the works. I've also got my Friday night live stream, Foul Territory. That, of course, is on my channel at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So, love to have you there. And that's what I got coming up. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. Barbecue, are you awake? Are you there? Have you drifted off into dreamland?
Yeah, I'm awake.
John.
Oh, that's all right. He's got to be up in the morning. Well, in a couple hours, probably for him. Get the kids ready for school. But so check out Guns Barbecue channel. He's not doing his chat now, but he's kind of trying to work out how to get one going again. And he's got other content on his channel there. There will be an overnight this weekend. Thought I had a topic, but once again, didn't write it down. So hopefully I'll remember what I was thinking of. And other than that, thank you for those that were out in the live chat participating. If you're watching, didn't say anything, don't be afraid to speak up. Let me know you're out there. If you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talked about, agree with, disagree with? What was your first gun? What do you think I put on layaway? And other than that, I hope everybody has a good rest of the night and go do something good.